My name is AJ Barrera. I am an intuitive profiler. I assist families and investigators on cases with dead ends. My intention with working on any crime or any homicide or missing person cases to kind of give a little bit more awareness on the situation, but also bring some light regarding about the missing person or about the person of interest, the suspect or the person that was killed.
My name is Rudy Hernandez. I work for a private investigation firm. I'm a case manager, and I'm pretty much representing just any type of cold case files that get brought to us.
On today's case, we're in Norwalk, California, and we're looking into the Golf and Stuff murders. On April 13th, 1984, 3 teenagers were brutally murdered and their lives were cut extremely short. The victims were Rachel Kaster, 18, Eddie Kaster, 15, and Veronica Flores, 16. The 3 were dropped off by the Kaster's father that night at the Golf and Stuff theme park, but unfortunately would not survive that night.
So what do you get? What impressions are you picking up on?
So my first initial impression coming down here, walking down from the area, which is from the sidewalk, I felt pulled to this area, which is underneath, I guess, the freeway, the bridge, the street, which is Firestone Boulevard here. I want to go check it out over here. If you want. It feels like whoever was involved here doesn't feel like this is like a Ramirez, as some people would say. I don't get that impression. My feeling is I actually do believe this is actually someone that is connected to the individuals. I don't believe this is a random person. I don't believe it feels like as if this is something that's personal to the person. And I believe the people that were maybe perhaps involved, if it was like my impression, is either there was one person that was a target. I believe the 2 other people were just there just to kind of hang out. They were there just on, for support, to hang out with the friends. But I believe there's more to the story because it seems like they were drawn here, they were brought here because I don't feel like it was just...
So you feel they were possibly lured to the
Absolutely.
area?
I don't feel like this is something where they just said, hey, let's go have a drink, let's go have beer, let's go do this. I really feel like they were actually, 1, curious, 2, someone else said, oh, let's go check it out or come meet here. I just feel like there's something premeditated or pre-organized when we came here.
Right, so there's more than one person involved?
Absolutely. I believe there's actually 3 other people. I feel like 2 people specifically were involved in the situation, involved in, I guess, the crime inside the scene itself here physically. I do believe perhaps there was another person either on foot or in a vehicle, to be quite honest, and that could be either a brother, cousin, friend that was involved here. As an intuitive investigator, I gather my information at a crime scene by impressions of energy imprints, which is residual energy left behind. Majority of the time, impressions are shown to me like an old movie reel being played inside my mind. I will then interpret what I'm seeing, hearing, feeling, smelling, or tasting. I believe in that situation, how this happened here, feels like that he was the one that was supposed to witness this. I really believe either he was the last one or he was witnessing what was happening here, because in some ways I feel like he wanted to protect, but he couldn't, because I feel like my hands in some sense feel like they're tied or feel like they're restrained, but it feels like they're restrained by someone else, which is why I feel like there's 2 other people that are involved here. And I'm afraid that people are afraid to come forward because they don't want to be involved, or they're afraid to be involved somehow or somehow even connected to it. But I do believe people have heard this by other adults, and which would, to me, they would probably be in the maybe 40s, 50s, maybe 40s.
Hi, Mrs. Flores. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you hear me okay?
Uh-huh.
Okay, perfect. Can you tell me a little bit about your daughter?
Let's see. She was my wild child.
Your wild child.
Also, the most loving and friendly child. Of the 4 I had, she was the most outgoing. She was extremely attractive. She didn't always do what was right, but she tried.
Unfortunately, there is not a lot of information available on this case, so we're lucky to have a few friends of Veronica Flores contact us. Today, we're visiting with Sylvia and her family. They were neighbors growing up and knew her family.
Hi, good morning, Sylvia. Rudy Hernandez. We spoke over the phone.
Yes.
Hi, AJ.
Hi.
Thank you for having us here.
Welcome. Come in.
Thank you.
Sylvia, thank you so much for having us here. My name's AJ Barrera. I'm part of the investigation team here. I also have
Rudy Hernandez.
So thank you for having us here at your home. We're here to discuss a case that happened here on Friday the 13th, 1984, which is about 34 years ago, which is the Kaster-Flores case. Can you explain a little bit more about the case for us?
I knew Veronica Flores. We met when we were younger. I don't remember how old we were when we met, but I remember the first time seeing her. I'm thinking, she had some beautiful long hair, and I thought, wow, she's pretty. I said, I wonder if she's going to want to be my friend. And she did. I mean, we got along good from the beginning. It was like we were meant to be friends. She was just so sweet. She was always singing. That I remember. She had the most beautiful voice, her smile. She had a dimple. Her dimple was every time she smiled, it was just like really nice. I think that's what I remember her.
Looking into certain things like within the case itself, the homicide itself, there's a lot of like foul play that has happened here in the situation, which is the obvious, but there's never really any key factors that were involved here, correct? Like any really witnesses or any really hard evidence that were there, correct?
No, there was never any. I mean, you would think that, being in the amusement park, being so close, that somebody saw something or, that would, but, nothing came out, nobody came forward.
It's bugged me, and it's kind of tugged at me to kind of like, hey, focus attention over here. And, thankfully, like I said, I think with his profession and my profession, I think we're just in the positions right now to, in a sense, bring this case to light. And this is work with the, detectives and families, and like I said, I'm utilizing any resources available to me, and just that's why we're here.
Yeah, and any resources that will be willing to share this with newspapers, TV, social media, anything. I do believe the power of social media is huge. By you just sharing something like that, or by something being shared, I think in some ways that it can shine some light to many different people all over, not just here in Downey or Norwalk or California itself, but everywhere else. And this is the purpose why we're doing this, is to, again, bring this awareness, to bridge both of us, to make sure that we are doing the right thing for the Kaster and Flores family.
Yeah, for people to know that the case is still open. It's still there.
Come on in.
But it's still there. Even though it's been 34 years. I mean, they may have taken Veronica physically from us, but she's always here.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
After our unknown guest checked in on the interview, we left Sylvia's home feeling very positive with a recharged drive. We sometimes have to be open to even unseen clues. They sometimes let us know we're on the right track. Well, I can assure you there's at least two witnesses I feel like that actually saw this, or witnesses, but it feels it represents that whatever happened here feels like, again, people are afraid to come out, and I do believe they're still alive, still living. So I don't think this person is passed over, nor do I believe this person is away from the city. I still feel like they're involved here within, and I still believe there's a close connection here to this place. And honestly, the sad part about it is I believe that they've shown their face many times here, and even brought their own family and children to this location. They are still out there. Oh, I hate to be visual, but as if like someone was holding them and they just sliced them or kind of took them. It feels like that someone kind of went like this in some ways, but I feel like whatever I'm seeing was able to see what was going on here. And it feels like that it's a significant point. And I feel like that's the moment. I think, ooh, wow, I just got dizzy. No, I believe in some ways whatever happened, it feels like that anytime I get that feeling from spirit, it's kind of like either there's something that I hit, like either a point. So either when they were taken, yeah, that's where I went. That's so funny you said that. When I got back, it feels like that's what I saw.
Jennifer started calling around, looking for her.
Right.
And somehow she called Downey Community Hospital, and they said, we have someone here who's injured, but we're not sure of the name. I found out later, well, Ron, I went up there, up to the hospital,
Yes.
to the emergency room, and I asked at the desk if they had my daughter there, Kaster-Flores. And the woman at the desk put us in a small room. And a policeman came in, Downey police came in and said, I'll tell you what we have here. 2 young girls deceased.
Jesus.
We're not sure if one is your daughter, because Veronica didn't have any ID on her.
Right.
And you can come to identify, but you can't touch her. It's a homicide.
Right.
So my husband went in and identified her.
Jesus.
And I went to the desk because they needed her information. And I gave it to them, and while I was standing there, I saw Rachel's paperwork.
Oh, God.
And after I did that, we left and came home and told the 3 here. And Mr. Kaster called me about 3-4 o'clock in the morning and asked me if Veronica had made it, and I said no. And I asked him if Eddie had,
Yeah.
because I only saw Rachel's paperwork,
Right.
and he said no.
God.
So that's how we told each other they were all dead.
Right. My God.
It bugs me. It bugs me a lot. You know, especially that this specific person is still out there.
And I feel like I'm up here, and I'm walking through, I feel like I'm not even moving this way. I feel like I'm up here, in a way, I'm trying to get help. I feel like in some ways, as if you wave down a vehicle or a car and kind of saying like, here I am. So I believe there's that situation, and I feel like that finally there was someone that witnessed that they saw him bleeding or saw him cut, and that's when someone actually stopped. But I feel like as if the person, so I feel like I collapsed because I don't feel like I'm actually on the property itself on golf and stuff. So I feel like I'm actually right off it or right outside, but I feel like as if I'm waving, like I'm trying to stop, and I feel like that whatever I'm doing here, whew, it just feels like that I collapsed. And once a moment that I kind of got help and got assistance, it feels like that I collapsed. It's so weird because when I started waving my hands, I literally felt as if the spirit was channeling through me at that very moment. It's almost like I was watching through his eyes and feeling what he was feeling at the time. Here, whoever the passerby was or whoever stopped and witnessed this, it feels like that they kind of, in some sense, saved his life. And that's not just the security guards, but I believe that no one would have stopped. I think he would have just died here, and he would have been here. No one would have noticed him, and that's the sad part about him. That in some ways, if we can somehow get the attention or somehow get involved with the sister, the family, detectives, you know, make someone like re-look at this case, at the situation, because again, there's more to the situation than what we really think. And
My aspect is I want to know where the bad guy is. I need to find him. So I kind of want to see, walk in his footsteps. It does bug me for this to not have been resolved and the case just be, like I said, unfortunately, like it's a manpower, the hours of funding, no one's looking into it.
Right.
You know, it is a sign, but it's kind of like it's part of the cold case.
I feel like I want to stop here, and I feel like either one, I don't know, again, if this was only done halfways or if this was just done at the very end, but there's something about this area that I feel like is significant. I want to move down if you want to take down. You can keep walking.
No, yeah,
keep walking. Are you talking?
Yeah. No, just that. Another one? What year is it?
1984.
Okay. Yeah, that was for you.
Are you kidding? 1984. And is this when it's happened or 85?
84.
1984 is a penny that we just found on the floor. And we're talking about this case, and this is when the case happened.
As we come to a closing of this briefing, we have to make known that we are far from done with the Kaster-Flores murder investigation. Leads and information will be investigated, justice will be sought, and closure for families will be paramount. Now we want you to take part of this process and help us find leads and clues needed to shed some light on this horrific crime. There are persons who know exactly what happened and who did it. We need this story to be shared and repeated by you all. To those of you that know you were there, come forward and cooperate. To those that have heard from the adults talking, reach out to us. And to the ones responsible, please just come clean. I am AJ Barrera. May peace and love free all. Thank you.
But will anyone step forward to it? I hope so.